Imagine trying to, say, build a global supply chain, but every single partner uses totally different accounting systems, different labels for everything, even different ways to measure things. It'd be, well, chaos, right?
Ah, maybe not quite chaos, but certainly incredible complexity.
Hmm.
And for a long time, moving money between banks internationally faced a similar kind of challenge.
And that's what we're diving into today, isn't it? This world of financial messaging.
Exactly. Our mission today is really to cut through some of the jargon, explore how money actually travels around the globe right now, the sort of hidden snags in that process.
And then get into this potential game changer everyone's talking about, ISO 2022, like a universal recipe.
Precisely. A universal recipe for financial communication. We'll look at how this new standard promises to make things smoother, safer, and, ultimately better for everyone involved.
Right. So this deep dive is basically your shortcut to understanding a pretty critical shift happening behind the scenes in global finance. It might reveal some surprising things about how money actually works for you. Let's start with how things work now. Okay, so we mentioned different systems, different standards. When I say send money overseas, it's not like someone picks up a phone, is it? It's a digital message.
That's right. It's a highly structured digital message. Think of it like a very detailed digital telegram.
A telegram. Okay, what's in this telegram?
All the essentials. Who sent the money, who's getting it, the exact amount, the currency, the date, all that crucial stuff.
But the key thing, as I understand it, is that these messages aren't all written in the same code, the same language.
Far from it. That's the crux of the complexity. Banks use various financial messaging standards, which are essentially different languages.
And one of the big ones is SWIFT.
Yes, Swift MT messages are probably the most well-known and longest standing.
Yeah.
They're kind of the workhorse for international payments. Over 11,000 institutions use them, millions of messages every single day.
Wow.
Yeah, but they have a very specific, almost cryptic structure. You see codes like 0.32A for the amount or 50F for the sender. It works, but it's quite rigid, not very flexible.
So a very coded, structured language. Are there others for different kinds of transactions?
Oh, definitely. There's ISO 15022, which is used more for securities transactions across borders, buying and selling stocks, bonds, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And you got ISO 8583. That's the language behind almost all your credit and debit card swipes, even ATM withdrawals. It's everywhere, but kind of invisible to us.
Never thought about that.
And for the fast-paced world of trading stocks and securities, there's FNEX, the Financial Information Exchange Protocol, very popular there.
It really sounds like a specialized dialect for every single corner of finance. And I guess individual countries or banks might have their own internal languages too.
You hit the nail on the head. Lots of banks and national payment systems use their own proprietary domestic standards. Just adds another layer, you see.
So the problem isn't just different words, it's different sentence structures too, like where the currency symbol goes.
Exactly. That's the syntax, the grammar, the format. One standard might put currency before amount, another after. Little things like that.
Right.
But maybe even more importantly, they have different semantics. The actual meaning of the terms can vary.
How so?
Well, the person sending the money might be called an ordering customer in one system, a payer in another, and a payment originator somewhere else.
I see. So 3 different names for the exact same role. That must be a nightmare for computers trying to process this automatically.
Which is the core challenge, really.
Uh-huh.
How do you get computers which need absolute precision to understand all these variations without a human constantly stepping in? Banks have spent, fortunes on systems just to handle this complexity.
So how do they manage it now? Is it teams of people translating these messages?
Not really people, no. It's sophisticated software. They rely heavily on what's called middleware.
Middleware.
Yeah, think of it as special software that acts like a digital interpreter or translator. It takes the message in one language, understands what it means, and then reformats it, changes the syntax and semantics so the next system can understand it.
So it bridges the gap.
Exactly. It enables different systems to talk to each other, even if they use different standards. That's what we call interoperability. It allows messages to flow, hopefully automatically, from end to end.
Okay, so the middleware is kind of the unsung hero here, patching everything together. It sounds complicated, but it works.
It does work, yes.
Yeah.
Like an international airport, you have people speaking dozens of languages, but they manage to get around using a few common languages, maybe like SwiftMT or relying on translators, the middleware.
But it's not perfect.
Not perfect. It's complex. And there's always a risk of things getting, lost in translation. A slight misinterpretation by the middleware, a data field that doesn't quite map over correctly. It can cause delays or errors
Yeah.
because there isn't that one universal, crystal clear language everyone understands perfectly.
Which leads us neatly to the potential solution. If the current way is this complex patchwork, what if there was a better way, a truly universal standard?
And that, right there, is the promise of ISO 2022. It's crucial to understand it's not just another new language to throw into the mix.
Okay.
Think of it more like a universal recipe book, or maybe a master blueprint for how to create financial message standards in the first place.
Ah, so it's a standard for making standards, a meta standard.
Precisely. It's a methodology agreed upon globally by the financial industry for defining consistent, rich message standards that can work across all sorts of financial activities. Payments, securities, cards, forex, trade finance, the whole lot.
How does it work? You mentioned layers.
Yeah, it's got this layered approach, like building blocks. At the very top, you have the business ideas. Just the core concepts, like who is paying? That's the debtor. Who was receiving? That's the creditor. Simple concepts.
Defining the basics first. Then what?
Then you move to the middle layer, the logical model. This describes all the specific pieces of information you need for a transaction name, address, account number, purpose code, whatever it might be. Importantly, this is defined independently of how it's technically written.
So defining the data fields without worrying about the code yet.
Exactly. And this layer uses a common dictionary. This is key. Everyone agrees, for example, that debtor means this specific thing. No more payer versus payer confusion.
Okay, clear definitions. And the final layer.
The bottom layer, the syntax. This is where you actually choose the technical language to write the message, usually XML these days, but it could be JSON or something else in the future. ISO 2022 is flexible about the syntax.
Right. And this is becoming the main standard now. You mentioned 2025.
Yes, there's a massive global push, especially for cross-border payments, to migrate to ISO 2022 with a target for widespread adoption by the end of 2025. It's a huge undertaking.
So how does this universal recipe actually make moving money easier or better in practice? What are the real benefits?
Well, the first and maybe most fundamental is that common dictionary. Having clear, agreed-upon definitions for everything, debtor, creditor, postal address, just eliminates so much ambiguity. Computers understand exactly what each piece of data means.
Fewer misunderstandings between systems. What else?
Reusable building blocks. This is really efficient. Think of them like digital Lego bricks. Once you define a component like postal address with all its fields, street, city, zip code, you can reuse that exact same block in hundreds of different message types. Payment instructions, account statements, trade confirmations.
Ah, so banks don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Exactly. They just snap together these predefined, standardized components. It makes building and updating messages much, much faster and less error-prone.
Sounds like a big efficiency win. What about the information itself within the messages?
That's probably the biggest transformation. Better data quality and richness. ISO 2022 messages can carry vastly more information, and it's much better structured than the old formats like SwiftMT.
More data. Like what?
More details about the sender and receiver, clearer purpose codes, remittance information like invoice numbers, just much more context around the payment. This richer data is incredibly valuable.
How so? Valuable for whom?
For everyone. Customers get more details on their statements. Regulators and risk managers get much better information for compliance checks and fraud detection. Businesses can use the detailed data for better cash flow forecasting, reconciliation, analytics. It unlocks a lot of potential.
That sounds powerful. Does this richer structured data also help with those translations or middleware issues we talked about earlier?
Absolutely. It dramatically improves interoperability and enables much higher rates of straight-through processing, or STP.
STP, that means fewer manual interventions, right?
Exactly. Because the data is so clear and standardized in ISO 2022, it can often act as a perfect intermediary format. You can map an old message format to ISO 2022 and then map from ISO 2022 to another target format much more reliably. Information flows automatically, end to end.
Any proof this works?
Oh yeah, look at the securities industry. After they adopted similar structured data standards, their STP rates jumped from maybe 60–70% up to over 95%.
95%.
Huge savings, Huge reduction in errors and manual repairs. It really works.
Okay, so it's more efficient, clearer, richer data. That's compelling. But you also mentioned safety and security. How does ISO 2022 help prevent things like errors or even fraud?
Right. It's not just about speed. It's about making the whole process more robust. Let's take error prevention first.
Okay.
Those clearer instructions we mentioned, the Common Dictionary, play a big role. If everyone uses the same term with the same definition, there's just less chance of misinterpretation leading to an error down the line. Like a foolproof recipe where cup always means the same size cup.
Makes sense. Fewer ambiguities, fewer mistakes.
And then there are the smart checks Becker sending. This is built-in validation.
How does that work?
ISO 2022 messages, especially using XML or JSON, come with schemas. These are like super detailed digital checklists. Before a message even leaves the sender's bank, the system automatically checks if it follows all the rules defined in the schema. Like, is this field supposed to be a date? Is it formatted correctly? Is this mandatory field actually filled in? Does this code exist in the official list? It catches basic structural and data type errors immediately.
So it stops bad data right at the source, like a proofreader for the message.
Exactly. It prevents garbage in, garbage out scenarios, which can cause major problems later. And this directly boosts that straight-through processing STP rate we talked about.
Because the data arriving at the next step is cleaner.
Precisely. Cleaner, more structured data means computers can process it reliably without human intervention. Less manual handling means dramatically fewer chances for typos or other human errors. That 95% plus STP rate isn't just fast, it's incredibly accurate.
Okay, that covers error reduction pretty well. What about tackling fraud? That's always a huge concern in finance.
This is where the richer, higher quality data really shines for security. Remember how we said ISO 2022 carries more detailed information?
Yeah, sender, receiver, purpose.
Right. Older formats often had very limited space, so details might get truncated or left out. ISO 2022 provides structured fields for all this crucial information.
And how does that help fight fraud?
It gives fraud detection systems much more to work with. Banks and regulators run sophisticated screening systems looking for suspicious patterns, checking against watch lists, analyzing transaction behavior. With more detailed, consistent data about who is sending, who is receiving, and why the payment is being made, these systems are far more effective.
So it's harder for criminals to hide.
Much harder. They thrive on anonymity and ambiguity. Richer, standardized data reduces both. It makes it easier to spot anomalies, link suspicious transactions, and ultimately prevent illicit funds from moving through the system. It's like adding more security cameras with higher resolution.
So better data acts as a kind of disinfectant against fraud.
In a way, yes. ISO 2022 provides the framework for that better data. It's like giving banks that universal, super detailed, self-checking recipe book, less confusion, fewer mistakes, and much better visibility, making it harder for bad ingredients or bad actors to slip through.
Okay, this standard sounds incredibly comprehensive and impactful. So who actually has to use it? Is it just the big international banks?
Oh, it's much broader than that. There's a major global push, particularly coordinated by SWIFT, for pretty much all financial institutions involved in cross-border payments to adopt ISO 2022 by the end of 2025. That includes those 11,000 plus banks on the SWIFT network.
Okay, so banks are definitely in. Who else?
A really critical group is market infrastructures, or MIs. These are the central hubs, think stock exchanges, payment clearinghouses, central securities depositories, the plumbing of the financial system.
Right, the big exchanges and clearing systems.
Exactly. And over 100 of these MIs around the world are already using or actively migrating to ISO 2022. We're talking major players like Target 2 Securities in Europe, the DTCC in the US, the CCDC in China. They're all moving. When the MIs adopt it, everyone who connects to them basically has to follow suit.
So it cascades through the system. Does it apply beyond just payments and securities?
Yes, the standard itself is designed for use across many financial domains. Payments, funds, securities, foreign exchange, forex, cards, and even trade finance, like invoices and guarantees. Any organization operating in these areas will likely encounter or need to adopt ISO 2022.
Even regulators?
Increasingly, yes. Regulators and authorities like central banks are starting to mandate it for reporting purposes because the richer data gives them better oversight. So it's a very wide net. Banks, MIs, fintechs involved in these areas, corporates interacting with them, and the regulators overseeing them.
It really is a systemic shift. So who's actually in charge of this massive standard? Who manages the universal recipe book?
That's an interesting point. It's not one single company or body. It's fundamentally managed by the global financial industry itself through a collaborative process.
But there must be some coordinating bodies.
Yes, the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, is the ultimate authority that officially approves it as an international standard. But the day-to-day maintenance, the guardianship, is largely handled by SWIFT.
Ah, Swift again.
Right. They were heavily involved in drafting the original methodology, and they act as the official registration authority, or RA. Think of them as the head librarian and guardian of the master dictionary and all the message definitions. They maintain the central repository.
Okay, so ISO approves, Swift guards the library. Are there other groups involved in, say, deciding what new recipes get added?
Yes, there's a whole governance structure with various expert groups.
Yeah.
There's a high-level registration management group, RMG, that oversees the whole process. Then you have standards evaluation groups, SEGs, which are teams of experts focused on specific areas like payments or securities. They review proposals for new messages. And a technical support group, TSG, helps ensure everyone implements the rules correctly. It's very much a community effort.
Community effort. That leads to my next question. If it's managed by the industry, can anyone propose a new message type or a change? How does that work?
This is one of the really powerful aspects. It's an open standard. Any organization, literally any interested party, can participate in developing new message definitions. You don't even need to be an ISO member.
Really? So a bank or a fintech or even a corporate treasury department could propose a new standard.
Absolutely. And many have. I think the website says something like 37 organizations have already submitted message definitions that are now part of the official standard. This openness drives innovation and ensures the standard evolves with industry needs.
That's fascinating. So what's the actual process? If I have a great idea for a new financial message, how do I get it into the official ISO 2022 recipe book?
There's a well-defined step-by-step process. First, you need to propose your idea with a formal business justification. You write a document explaining the business need for this new message, what it would do, and why it's beneficial. This goes to the RMG, that high-level group, for initial approval.
Okay, make the business case first. What if they say yes?
If approved, you move to develop the candidate messages. You work closely with the RA Swift, who provides detailed modeling guidelines. You use special tools to design the logical model for your message, trying to reuse existing Lego bricks or components from the Common Dictionary as much as possible. The RA checks your work for compliance with the methodology.
So design the message with expert help, following the rules, then what?
Then comes the standards evaluation. The RA submits your candidate message to the relevant SEG, the group of domain experts. They scrutinize it. Does it meet the business requirements? Is it technically sound? Does it conflict with anything else? They provide feedback, and you might need to make revisions.
Rigorous peer review by industry experts.
Exactly. And once the SEG gives its approval, that's the final hurdle.
So after SEG approval, it's official.
Yes. It then undergoes official registration. The RA formally adds your message definition to the central ISO 2022 repository and publishes it on the official website, www.iso2022.org, where it's freely available for anyone in the world to use. The organization that submitted it still retains the intellectual ownership, but it becomes part of the global standard.
So like contributing a new, approved design to the universal Lego set catalog. Propose, design with help, get expert checks, and then it's available for everyone to build with.
That's a perfect analogy. It ensures quality, consistency, and relevance through community involvement.
Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground. We've gone from that complex spaghetti of different financial languages to understanding how ISO 2022 offers this unifying, powerful, universal recipe. It really does feel like a fundamental shift, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. Moving away from fragmented communication towards a system that's unified, much richer in data, and ultimately significantly safer for global finance.
We really hope this deep dive has helped demystify what's happening. It's a crucial transformation, even if it happens mostly behind the scenes. It's reshaping the very rails on which global commerce runs.
And it impacts everyone, really, from individuals wanting faster, clearer payment info to huge corporations needing better risk management and efficiency.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If all financial data can soon speak this same perfectly clear, highly detailed language, what becomes possible?
Right. What kind of new financial services might emerge? Think about instant, data-rich cross-border payments becoming the norm, or truly automated supply chain finance based on real-time information flow.
Or perhaps even new forms of commerce we haven't conceived of yet. How might this unified language redefine security, efficiency, and innovation in global transactions for absolutely everyone?
It's definitely something to ponder. How might this universal language touch your own financial world, maybe sooner than you think? We'll leave
Hmm.
you with that thought.